Welcome to OKState Daily. Casey Porter here. We have a lot to get into, so we're not even going to have the first part of the intro to this. We're going to cut right to the game action in Oklahoma State, BYU, a big game, and it was cold and it was wet, and because of that, there was supposed to be rain in the second half, of which it came. Oklahoma State took the football first, hoped to build a lead, so in the second half, you could kind of sit on that and not have to try to play like Oklahoma State actually had to do, trying to come back in the rain like they did. You see Ollie Gordon get off to a good stop. Everything looks great right here. Oklahoma State is doing what they want to do. They're feeding the rock to Ollie early and often. They're getting Brennan Presley in the game, and then this. Just a really nice play by BYU. As we look at this, Brennan Presley, they use motion a lot, and a lot of times what they've done in the past, and this is, I really do like this play because if you remember, that they had Presley come out here in motion, and then he came back in and then came back out this way. So what Casey Dunn likes to do is he likes to run the same types of concepts, but he likes to flip them and make them almost exactly opposite. And then also a lot of times, what the Cowboys do is they slip out that tight end, which is Josiah Johnson. We actually saw Braden Cassidy do that some. Here's a Josiah Johnson. We saw him actually do that once in Braden Cassidy. They like to hit that tight end on that waggle game. So you hope that safety takes Josiah Johnson right here and comes up on it. But that corner just did a really good job of just sitting and staying home and tackling Brennan Presley. So you only put 3 on the board. I mentioned on all my social medias, this was a game that had me on edge. And, hey, I know that BYU is a team that statistically is one of the worst in the Big 12. But, hey, they got Aiden Robbins healthy last week, and almost all of the rushing game has come since Robbins got healthy. So they had the receivers that were healthy. They had 2 quarterbacks they could choose from, a healthy backfield, and then this, Trey Rucker, the first of his fumble recoveries. That made me feel a lot better about things. You kind of felt like because BYU had struggled, if Oklahoma State would have just got on top of them and buried them and put 2 touchdowns on the board and went ahead 14-0, you kind of felt like BYU at that point would have resorted to, hey, we haven't been very good all year. There is that GH and a good, just a pass off of that Leon Johnson, who had an absolutely huge game. Seemed like every catch that Leon Johnson had was big. There's that GH again, and Ollie gets down to the 5. Everything is looking great at this point. Oklahoma State's running their counter. They're throwing it to Presley. There's another counter, and just give BYU credit for stopping that play. 93 comes in as we see how this works, and really just kind of, right there, didn't get blocked at all. Comes off his block. He is completely unblocked and fits that hole, so Ollie Gordon really couldn't push the pile. If he's not able to do that, Ollie does, pushes it down to about the 2-yard line. There is just an inside zone play. Nowhere to go for Ollie, so now you have 3rd down and goal. And as an Oklahoma State fan, you're thinking, guys, we have had every opportunity to put this team away early, and now you haven't done that. And it just has that uneasy feeling to it, like, man, we only scored 6 points. We're leaving a BYU team that is very hungry right now in this game, and we saw that BYU actually took advantage of that and had the lead for most of the game. So Oklahoma State had every chance early in this game to put a BYU team that came into Stillwater hungry and healthy, to be quite honest, but also, a team that was fragile. So you kind of felt like, hey, instead of being 6-0, if it could have just been 14-0, this would have been a whole different deal, and BYU did a great job of running this. Oklahoma State, this slant right here is something they ran quite a bit the other night. And, anytime that you have, movement that is created by a call by the coach, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. See that the defensive line slant left because of that right there. That leaves that cutback lane. Here's Nick Martin. He is the only box linebacker. Here you have a safety that's eyeing the run game here. That's supposed to come up and fit, and he does right there. Trey Rucker just absolutely swings and misses on that. And, hey, Trey Rucker, let's back that up. Trey Rucker obviously had a huge day. He had the 2 biggest plays of the day. I believe that's Trey Rucker. Sometimes I get him and Kendall Daniels mixed up. They look so much alike, especially from these angles. Right there, just a swing and a miss by the safety. That lets Aiden Robbins out the back door, and Nick Martin has to chase it from behind. And now BYU, they feel like they have weathered that. There's that swing and miss right there. They feel like they have weathered that early storm, and that, that right there, just that fact, there's Xavier Benson firing from his linebacker spot, and a good job by Retzlaff of just getting the ball off to his tight end, Isaac Rex, who is just a wonderful football player. There's another fire by the linebacker. And like I said, anytime that you create movement artificially by a call from the coach, you are going to win some and you're going to lose some. So right here, watch this. Fire the linebacker right there. We're going to see a linebacker fire. Because of that, he gets caught up in the wash, and Xavier Benson actually runs himself out of the play. And because of that, Aiden Robbins, who's about 240 pounds and will be an NFL back, in my opinion, he is good enough to get through a couple of arm tackles and get downhill. There you see the wash, and then the linebacker fire. Robbins breaks some tackles. Now BYU, they have a whole lot of confidence. They know, hey, if they just score a touchdown here, got to tackle right there. You see the safeties right now for OSU just are not tackling very well. But there's LJ Martin, the guy, their running back, who has had to replace Aiden Robbins all year because Robbins has been hurt. BYU really feels like right now that if they score a touchdown, they go up 7-6. They've weathered the early storm, and this gives them a lot of confidence. Just a simple end around, and this is a play that really hurt OSU for about 3 quarters, just about every time BYU ran it. So let's take a look at this. Here's the Aiden Robbins run. Actually, that's Retzloff, and that's a good job by Colin Oliver staying home and just kind of squatting that backside. He's that unblocked 9-tech. Here's that motion, and then here's that lead right here. That's the problem that OSU had, is that look how BYU, they had 3 receivers and 4 before the motion. So OSU tilted all their coverage, just 1 safety left on the backside of this, and then that cloud corner. See, as I back this up, I'm going to show you the formation. See how right here, Corey Black, he is in a cloud corner position, meaning he does not have a receiver. So he is the run force guy right here. But the problem with that is, we saw this earlier with Cincinnati, this lead blocker gives OSU a problem. So that lead sweep right there, see that lead blocker? He's going to be able to take care of the corner. And so right now, basically all you have is you have safety, one-on-one with the running back, who takes an inside angle, not able to make the tackle, and then Kingston's able to get all the way down to basically the 1 yard line, then an easy touchdown for Retzloff. Another lead blocker here. The lead scheme again, we saw that with Cincinnati. It gave Oklahoma State problems. See, here's the lead scheme again. So that's just an inside zone with a lead blocker and an H-back. Seals off Nick Martin, and Retzloff gets into the end zone easy. So now BYU is feeling really good about itself and takes a 7-6 lead. So Kalani Sitake, the head coach of BYU, he has been quoted as saying he's been disappointed that he hasn't been more aggressive this year as far as BYU, and their chances of winning games. So they come on with an onside kick. Initially, this is an Oklahoma State player that touches it, but it's found out to be that actually, he was illegally touched first. So Oklahoma State luckily gets the ball back, and in, decent field position. I like this play to Brennan Presley. We saw BYU just basically run it themselves, but Brennan Presley, hey, get the ball to Brennan Presley any way you can. But a good job there by BYU, but eventually it gets to Ollie Gordon, who just gets up the middle for 1 yard. Hey, offensive line, they had a lot of good moments. They had some moments that weren't quite as good. It wasn't as good as it has been as of late. You can see right here. This is not the offensive line's fault. So many times in the stands you say, well, the offensive line's not blocking because the quarterback's running for his life. What happens here? Watch this corner fire. And this is something BYU does a lot, and they always seemingly do it from the boundary. And the reason why they do it from the boundary is simply because there's less distance. See, if you fired this corner from the field side, look how much distance he would have to go. Bowman would have plenty of time to find a receiver. But because it's from the boundary, basically, unless you have a hot route right here, which this is all over film. Oklahoma State should have known this was coming and had a hot route off of it. But because of this corner fire right here, what actually needs to happen is Oklahoma State needs to understand they needed to have, kind of a check system. If this corner fires, we just immediately sit and throw this quick and we get 8 yards. But because Oklahoma State did not have that adjustment in their offensive playbook, now their receiver is going deep and then they don't have a hot off of that corner fire, and now Bowman's running for his life and having to make, just kind of a scramble play. And just thank goodness, Leon Johnson, the third, is on this team. Where would Oklahoma State be without LJ3? And then here is the quarterback sneak from Alan Bowman, and you're thinking, man, just give the ball to Ollie Gordon. And then the 4th down play. I want to show you this because, hey, if you go back to the Houston game, okay, here are the pullers right here, right there. So no doubt about it, in the Houston game, Oklahoma State actually scored a touchdown on this exact same counter play. This is the HH counter. I showed it to you. Matter of fact, I have it on my Twitter. You can go see the way Oklahoma State ran it. And the way they ran it against Houston is the running back comes over here, and then Ollie Gordon, then once he gets the ball on the right side, then he cuts it back behind those pullers. Well, but like I said, Casey Dunn, what he likes to do, he likes to run the same plays and the same concepts, but exactly flip them. So, he flipped, last week, it was the pullers were coming this way and the handoff was over here to the left. So Alan Bowman, just kind of going back to instincts, they ran it to the only time they've ran this HH counter last week was to the left. He turns to his left. This, if they were supposed to be ran like it was last week, which I'm going to have to assume it was, because all the linemen are washing it to the right. All of the lead blockers are coming back to the left. This handoff was supposed to be over here. That is 100% on Alan Bowman. At this point, you see, okay, so, he just can't throw the ball, honestly, because even if he completes it, when this is supposed to be a run play, look at you have linemen downfield, so there's absolutely nothing. Alan Bowman, he knows that. I mean, even if he runs the ball right here, even if he throws the ball to somebody downfield, it doesn't matter because it's going to be a penalty. Obviously, if you complete it, maybe you'd get the play over. But having said that, at this point, the play is dead. He just has to throw it in the ground. And right now, you're just kind of going, holy cow, guys. This is the BYU team that this is the only thing you couldn't do was give them momentum early in the game. But no doubt, you can see it right here on Sataki's face. BYU squarely has momentum. So BYU, they get the ball right at midfield after that fourth down blunder. And this is a great job by the defense. Nathan Latu, hey, that's a young man from Salt Lake City. It meant a lot to him to play a BYU team that is so popular in the state of Utah. So, hey, this was a great job by the defense. Anytime you win first down against a team like BYU that wants to, run the ball and throw it when they want to and not when they have to, that's always going to be a good situation. Hey, this triple-pronged RPO, Oklahoma State was just boss mode on this. So here you have the 9 techniques. See here the quarterback is reading Latu. He is reading Latu because Latu squats and does not attack the running back. He is going to actually this is actually the give look to the running back, or it's the throw look. So it's anything but, at least right now, as Retzloff reads that Latu is what's called squatting. He knows that the only thing he can't do is keep the ball and run the ball. So he has 2 options, either hand the ball off or throw the ball. And because you see this 4-man line right here, he's going to actually pull it and throw it. But watch the safeties right in the corner. Boom. Oklahoma State had that covered by massive different layers. They did a great job in an RPO game all day long. So you felt good about that stop. And then the pick 6. This is, of course, I'm not in the film room. I'm not Casey Dunn, so I can't give you a definitive answer. But let me back this up, okay? See this corner right here? He is in backpedal mode, and he is exactly about 10 yards off. So Bowman, look at Bowman's eyes right here. He's looking at this corner right here, right there. You can see his eyes. Okay, so he's thinking, okay, we're deep in our own territory. What do you want to do? Let's push it out and give us some room. Let's make a nice, safe throw. Let's throw a little quick or just a little quick hitch. Let's get the ball completed and let's get 7 or 8 yards. Let's make it 2nd down and 7. That's what Alan Bowman sees here. See that the cornerback? I want to back that up. Not only is he 10 yards deep, watch his first step. Watch his first step after the snap. See how it goes back right there? He's gone back. Alan Bowman right now is thinking, I have the easiest completion of my life. Let's just hit this little hitch right here, or quick, whatever you want to call it. Let's make it 2nd down and 2. Instead, Jaden Bray goes deep on it and just simply a miscommunication. I cannot put that on Alan Bowman. That is, in my opinion, and like I said, I don't mean this to be negative. I don't mean this to throw anybody under the bus. But I have to put that, I believe that's Jaden Bray, the receiver out there. I have to put that on the receiver because that should have been an easy completion and a 2nd down and 2, and Oklahoma State would have got the drive off. Instead, it's a pick 6, and now Oklahoma State's down 14-6, and Oklahoma State fans are no doubt worried about what's going on. So Oklahoma State, with their first 2 possessions, had a chance to really put a lot of momentum into this game, kind of bury BYU early. They didn't. BYU went on the scoring drive, took the lead. That really energized their sideline. You could see it. Then you have the pick 6. Now BYU is thinking, wow, this is really a good deal. This is the only start that OSU couldn't have. I love this play. Oklahoma State's 3rd and long after, just kind of a kickoff that went awry, and you're thinking, man, everything's going against you. This is just not setting up well. Then you have just a great play call, and then this by Alan Bowman. that draw to Jaden Nixon to get you out of a hole, and then Alan Bowman just goes and makes a play to Brendan Presley with the scramble rules and gets you to midfield and give the ball to Ollie right here. So Oklahoma State, man, really 14-6, especially after the way that kickoff happened. Everything's going against you. That was a really big deal to me in the sense there is a penalty flag. Alan Bowman knew he had a flag for offsides on BYU, so he knew he had a free play. Just throw it up, see what happens. This was a big deal to get out of the hole, give the ball to Ollie Gordon on an outside zone play. BYU, they were not going to let Ollie Gordon win in the run game if they could keep from it. Now, as the game going on, I actually feel like although OSU was down the whole time, the fact that he got 34 carries, that shows the patience and the maturity of Casey Dunn as a play caller. So give credit to OSU for sticking with Ollie Gordon. You know, it would have been easy just to get in a throw-a-thon, being down as much as OSU was. There's a 3rd and 10 where Bowman has to check down. So Oklahoma State, hey, they did not score on this drive. But, hey, after the way the BYU had scored twice in a row, after the kickoff that put you inside the 10, if Oklahoma State would have went 3 and out here, I think it would have been a lot easier for BYU to feel that momentum. So fast forward to 3:03 to go in the second half. OSU has the ball deep. You did miss a BYU touchdown, a BYU faked punt. You know, that was just a great play. Hey, they were being very aggressive all night. And then here is Oklahoma State. They are down 24-6. Here's the beginning of the second half, and this is when Oklahoma State really started to take control of the game. This was a great adjustment by Coach Nardo at halftime against the triple-pronged running attack and then the RPO game of BYU. This is high-level stuff. So what you're going to see here, remember Nathan Law, too, how he sat and he gave the give read to the quarterback. Now, instead of it of sitting and squatting, Coach Nardo the entire second half is going to have to force the issue because OSU, I mean, not only can they not allow BYU to score, they can't even give up first downs the way that the clock runs nowadays. Even when you go out of bounds, it resets and goes again. So OSU is going to have a limited amount of possessions. So Coach Nardo knows not only does he need to stop BYU, this defense needs to come up with 3 and out. So you're having to force the issue. So watch Colin Oliver here. Now Colin Oliver becomes the full flow player right here on the running back, which means now Nick Martin's going to have to loop around. And because of that, now on that counter play, he's actually going to take up one blocker. This is called layering. See how Colin Oliver's the first layer, Nick Martin's the second layer, and by the time that you switch things up and Colin Oliver became the full flow player, now Nick Martin is looping around at the second layer. Now your third level player, Kendall Daniels, is going to be unblocked, and now he is just absolutely talented up. Watch how great of a play that is by Kendall Daniels. First of all, watch how he identifies run. Let's see how fast he identified run. Then he got his head to where the run, where the run was headed to find blockers. Because his head was up, and he was, instead of just looking at the quarterback, he was actually looking at where the play was going. He was able to identify where the blockers were at. Because of that, he misses them all and then gets to the quarterback at the line of scrimmage. That is a big league play. That's big league scheme, the way that Brian Nardo layered that on 3 different levels, and then it's just big league execution by everybody involved. And so now you're forcing the issue. It's 3rd down and 7. You're getting to Retzlaff, and now he's throwing the ball backwards. Oklahoma State rallies. Look at Nick Martin right there, Nathan Law too. Oklahoma State gets the ball. You had to have that 3 and out. You needed to set some momentum with your defense, and then here you go. Throw the ball to Brendan Presley, your playmakers. You felt like if Oklahoma State it could go down and score this first possession, hey, game back on. This was a must score and not just a field goal. This was a must score, a touchdown drive, in my opinion. Now 24-9, down 15. If you kick a field goal, yes, you're still in it, but you just felt like you had to score. And one thing at halftime I felt like Oklahoma State needed to do, or 2 things. They needed to increase the tempo. OSU is the better team. The more amount of possessions that you have, here's just a double slant, and obviously with the amount of attention Braden Presley gets, that means that Leon Johnson is going to continue to have one-on-one coverage, which he's consistently beat. So I felt like Oklahoma State needed to increase the tempo, speed it up, and then they needed to throw the ball to the middle of the field. Something they came out and did in the second half. They did a great job of. There's that double slant again, and there's, because of that, you see, I talked about how Coach Dunn, he likes to run the same concept. So you remember that double slant that Leon Johnson just caught the pass from? Okay, now so BYU is assuming it's going to be that double slant again. So the defender there is trying effortlessly to get to that slant, and instead of the slant, now you have the double move, you have the slant, and then the flag route. So that is that is just a great concept to throw that flag route off of the slant look you just gave him. Because of that, now you get the penalty. Now Ollie Gordon gets into the end zone. I want to show you right here, Joe Michalski, center, back this up. Watch your center for Oklahoma State. Right here, Joe Michalski. Watch him right there. Drive his man all the way in the end zone. Joe Michalski right there, 66. Did a great job of getting Ollie Gordon in the end zone. Now the game, Oklahoma State has scored, and because of that, the game is on. So Oklahoma State did what they had to do. They not only did they get a stop, they got a 3 and out. Here it is again. Okay, this is that adjustment that Coach Nardo made at halftime. See, you're going to see right here. Watch the OSU force the issue from the edge. Right there, you're going to have an edge rusher, Colin Oliver, that is going to play run again. That is that same counter look that BYU ran just a minute ago. And off of that, okay, BYU never adjusted this. See how Colin Oliver, he's going to force the full flow inside. Then you're going to get a loop from Nick Martin, and BYU just has not recognized this yet. And because of that, Retzloff is running for his life. Kirkland almost gets an interception. Coach Nardo has made just a ridiculously great adjustment to that RPO and multi-pronged running game for BYU. And then this. Remember me talking about that jet sweep earlier that Oklahoma State had problems with, and they did it with a lead blocker? Well, look at this right here. Look at that lead blocker right there. Okay, so there's another, the cloud corner right here. Does not have a receiver, so you assume you have a safety in the corner there too, guys. You're in good position, but now look, this tackle comes out and actually attacks the first guy that he sees, and that allows this running back right here to lead up on the corner. And so now you have basically 3-on-2 for BYU, and so they figured out a way to get the numbers game in this jet sweep, and Marion's a good enough player to get to the outside and get the first down. So that was very disappointing. But that was a play, that jet sweep, that Oklahoma State and Coach Nardo eventually adjusted to. And then there is L.J. Martin, the running back that had most of the carries this year. Of course, Aiden Robbins got a lot of the carries Saturday because he had been hurt this year, and he's a very good back. And then there is Kendall Daniels again coming up and fitting the run. And I was a little bit surprised that BYU ran the ball here on second and then third. I believe they run the ball on 3rd down and 6 as well. See, OSU slanting right here, and then they're looping. See, again, they're slanting the line this way, and then Colin Oliver is the full flow player in the box, and they're looping Nick Martin. This is not, and then they're keeping, Xavier Benson or whatever linebacker they want back on the backside to be the box player, and then that allows Kendall Daniels just to be an unblocked, whatever you want to call him, a monster, a viper, a cowboy, whatever. He's unblocked. He really doesn't have any responsibility other than to find the ball and then just go run to the ball. So watch him. He found the ball. He knows who has the ball right now. Because Nick Martin loops right here, that's going to force the running back to actually have to stay inside. And when he does that, Kendall Daniels, boom, right there. That is called layering again. What a great layering concept by Coach Nardo. Just tremendous execution for OSU. And honestly, that was the adjustment that got BYU shut down for the entire second half. I said I thought they threw it on 3rd down. They did not, or ran it on 3rd down. They threw it on 3rd down. That was the number one adjustment that Coach Nardo made, and it absolutely came up spades. BYU never figured it out, so OSU is headed downhill. Boy, and this was disappointing. You got Ollie Gordon going. You got to run to Leon Johnson. The crowd has started, whoever, the small crowd that's actually still there, you kind of feel like Oklahoma State has a bunch of momentum still. Look right there, 7:07 left. You have a lot of time left on the clock. It's 3rd down and about 6 here. And then, Oklahoma State has a lot of momentum. If you go and score here, you kind of feel like OSU might eventually take control of the game. And then you have this play right here to Leon Johnson, which is, Leon Johnson, we talk about him beating man coverage all the time. And then eventually Oklahoma State gets a penalty, and they're not able to score on that drive. So the score remains 24-13. So OSU's drive stalled, and the score remains 24-13. And, man, I'm telling you, the way that the new clock rules, you just have very few possessions left in this game. So this is where I really started to get worried. You did pin BYU down deep. Now watch out Oklahoma State. We talked about the adjustment they made. Attack right here from the edge, loop the linebacker, and then so there's a 3rd prong to this where Retzloff can throw the ball. So see, watch here. Colin Oliver, watch him come inside right there. See, that's that same adjustment right there. That's actually Xavier Benson. He actually comes inside right there, and he's squatted on the quarterback here. Retzloff, look, he's looking right at Xavier Benson. Here is the loop from Nick Martin. So Nick Martin right now, because Xavier Benson is squatted here, you have Colin Oliver in the box to take care of the running game to the play side. You have a slant from the defensive line headed this way. So you have the running back in this inside zone taken care of with your slant and your box linebacker right here. So the quarterback, what you have to now be weary about is the counterflow, and the counterflow meaning the quarterback keeping it. So now you have Xavier Benson squatted on the quarterback. Retzloff sees that. So because he is squatted now, Retzloff knows he can't hand the ball off because Oklahoma State has good box numbers here. Now he can't keep the ball because Xavier Benson is right there squatted on him. And because Xavier Benson is squatted, now Nick Martin in his loop, he can, as I back this up, I want to show you, Nick Martin can actually watch for cutback right here. So see, watch Nick Martin right there. See how he had cutback? And now once that the quarterback keeps the ball, now Nick Martin, because there's no cutback, he now can gain ground. So can Xavier Benson, because Xavier Benson's a quarterback player. Now you have two quarterback players. They can both gain ground on Retzloff. Retzloff now just has to get rid of the ball. And now OSU, they have the third part of this prong to, the first prong is the running back. Second prong is quarterback keeping the ball. And then third prong is you can actually throw the ball, of which the receiver didn't realize that this was even an option on this play. And then because of that, Retzloff throws it. Receiver is not even looking at the ball. Oklahoma State forces another 3-and-out, something that, again, because of the new rules in the game, you couldn't give a points, but you had to have 3-and-outs. So Oklahoma State got another one, and it's going to get the ball down 11. So after the 3-and-out by BYU, Oklahoma State gets the ball back on about their own 30-yard line, and boy, this was a nice play. Jaden Bray, so many times for an offense, and that is that far hash throw that Alan Bowman makes so well for this offense. He is just so good at that far hash to the far sideline. And, so many times that first down is what an offense needs to get into rhythm. So I thought that was a big throw to Jaden Bray to get things going. And then you have this underneath. Hey, let's just go ahead and put this one back into the trash can. That underneath mesh route to a tight end and Braden Cassidy. Not a great play for OSU. Then you have this. This was just a great catch from Josiah Johnson. Oklahoma State's on the move. They almost scored last possession until they got a penalty. So it's still 24-13. You're still down 11. You've had a lot of momentum in the third quarter. Defense has been playing great, but you've only made up one touchdown. This is another part of the game where I'm thinking, guys, it just doesn't seem like we're making up enough ground. Then you have this possession here where Oklahoma State's doing a lot of good things, almost to Jaden Bray. That happened right in front of me. That was, good defense, but a play that Oklahoma State could have made. Then you had this right here. BYU with the interception, and you feel like, man, guys, you've had the momentum the entire third quarter. It doesn't seem like BYU's holding has stopped you, except for you stopped yourself with a penalty. Now this interception, and boy, this really put momentum back on BYU's side. And the thing about Alan Bowman, he did not have a good first half, point blank. He made some great throws in the second half. Here's this interception. He did have the interceptions, so, hey, I know a lot of people sometimes, that he drives them nuts with the way that he has more interceptions than he does touchdowns. It's not perfect, no doubt about it. But, hey, bottom line is Oklahoma State did come back and win this game. Alan Bowman has been 7-2 as the starter, and he has Oklahoma State in position to play for a Big 12 championship game Saturday. So although it hasn't always been pretty, as a matter of fact, there have been times where it's been downright ugly. It's hard to complain about where Oklahoma State is at as a team right now. And, hey, quarterbacks, by and large, they win or lose, and that's how they're judged. So, by and large, I think Oklahoma State fans have to be happy with where they're at and how things have gone. So the defense is in another bad spot, and there's that adjustment again. You saw Colin Oliver come down from his defensive end spot. Watch this from the top right here again to force the issue. Again, this is not going to give Retzloff a whole lot of time. You saw the loop there by Nick Martin, and then the almost interception. You're thinking, boy, if you could get that one back, that would be great after you just gave BYU the ball back with an interception of their own. Had to come up with a 3-and-out. This is just elite defense. Okay, this is that same adjustment. So guess what Colin Oliver's going to do, right? He's going to come right here. Guess what Nick Martin's going to do? He's going to loop. The running back, he's going to actually want to cut this outside when he sees Nick Martin has actually looped, then he's going to actually have to put a foot in the ground and come upfield. And when he does, he's going to run right into Colin Oliver right there. Wow, what a play. Again, that's just that same adjustment that Coach Nardo made at halftime. BYU has not identified it. They have not figured it out. And because of that, OSU is coming up with negative play after negative play. And because of that, as we start the fourth quarter, BYU has not been able, not only have they not been able to score, they have not been able to move the ball at all. They've given the ball back to Oklahoma State with enough time to make things up. But right here, man, guys, you got to go. You got to pick up the tempo, and you're thinking, gosh, man, this is going to be like a 3rd down and 8. This was an absolutely gigantic play. Seemed like the ball floated forever, happened right behind me. I was right behind this, and boy, when he identified Leon Johnson right here, I wanted a little bit more mustard on that ball because it just seemed like it hung up in the air, and the safety is going to have time to drive on it. Leon Johnson catches it. He gets that first down that I mentioned just a minute ago that gets an offense into the rhythm. So now you have a 2nd down and 8. That's just a great throw by Alan Bowman. That is a tremendous catch by Rashad Owens. So again, hey, if you want to criticize Alan Bowman, that's fine. I get it. He didn't play a good first half. He's had times where it's been ugly. You have to admit, though, when it counts, he's made the throws that have absolutely mattered. This is a big-time throw. And why this is, okay, so as you see this ball in here, see where the safety's at right there? He actually throws the ball away from the safety to where the only person that could catch it was Rashad Owens, who, by the way, was a young man that led the halftime locker room speech. He got the boys to believe this was a huge play. Rashad Owens bringing energy to the offense. Here you can see right here that the throw is to the outside right there to Rashad Owens to throw it away from the safety and to allow Rashad Owens to actually shield the safety away from the ball, something he did. Now give the ball to Ollie Gordon to create a pretty good 2nd down situation. And again, give Casey Dunn credit. I know he takes on a lot of fire. Sometimes it seems like we run the same plays over and over, because we do, but you got to give him credit for the fact that we were down the whole game, multiple scores, and he stayed patient enough to give Ollie Gordon 34 carries, and then just that zone slant to Rashad Owens, who uses his big body and his power to get the ball inside the 10-yard line. And I'm thinking, hey, this is all great, this is all dandy, but Oklahoma State, they have struggled to get the ball into the end zone. This is a drive that cannot end up in 3. It's got to end up in 6. Ollie Gordon does it right there, takes care of it. Oklahoma State now gets back to within 24-20, and game on. Ollie Gordon's excited, and now Oklahoma State now actually 24-20. I said they actually go for 2. And this was a huge play because I just think this relaxed OSU, knowing they all I needed was a field goal. This is just the mesh route that Oklahoma State runs a lot. So you're going to see shallow cross here, Rashad Owens, shallow cross, Leon Johnson. And because the offensive line does a good job, it gives Alan Bowman, see how good of a job the offensive line does. They cover up everybody. Look how much time Alan Bowman has. Because he has enough time, right here he is reading Rashad Owens. And so you can see that Rashad Owens is coming into the picture open, and Alan Bowman's already reading that. So Rashad Owens right here, you can see, because this is the beauty of this play. We mentioned that Casey Dunn runs a lot of the same plays, but he gives a million different looks looking at it. So if you're the defense right now and you see, if you're the safety over here, if you're this guy right here, who are you going to cover? Are you going to recover Rashad Owens on a cross, or are you going to cover Brennan Presley? So watch Presley right here. See how that safety covers Presley? That's game, set, and match for BYU, as long as Bowman has enough time. So see how Bowman is actually looking at this safety right here. So what Bowman is wanting to happen is he's wanting to look this safety off. So now that he knows that this safety right here is taking Presley, which he's going to assume is going to happen, now he just needs to make sure this safety right here stays home. So look at his eyes. This is what Alan Bowman does so well. The reason why this offense goes, because his eye game is so good. He's able to look safeties off to get his receivers open. So right now, he is forcing this safety to stay home by looking to this side of the field. And because this safety, he stays home right there. Because of that, that gives Rashad Owens that angle to get home. See how that safety actually had to trail from behind? And that is because Alan Bowman looked him off and got Rashad Owens open and got the 2 points. Oklahoma State down just 3. So right now, what's popping into my head is the Cincinnati game. You know, hey, you kind of struggled around, maybe the Houston game. let's just get the ball back. Let's go score. Let's take the lead. And you kind of felt like once Oklahoma State took the lead, that BYU was going to struggle because their offense just isn't, they do have some talent, but, this was a huge play because you think, hey, if you can get a 3 and out back, there's that Isaac Rex. As a matter of fact, that is the exact same play, exact same player. Let's back that up. This is the exact same play, this crossing route right here to Isaac Rex. The tight end for BYU. Let's check him out right here. See how he's going to cross right here, and guess who's going to cover him? Trey Rucker, right? Okay, so Trey Rucker is actually going to cover him right there, and that is the exact same play that they went to, that Rucker stripped the ball for the last play of the game. So you see, hey, it's not just OSU, it's every other team. As you evaluate these films, there's that same loop stunt that BYU could not figure out. It's this. Every team runs the exact same plays over and over and over. I know OSU fans, hey, we run the same plays. Yes, we do. So does everybody. But like I said, hey, with all the transfers, with all the changes, there's a big play to create a third down. There's only a certain amount of concepts teams can actually put in now with all the change. Everybody does the same thing. What Oklahoma State does is they do a really good job of presenting the same concepts in different ways, and that's why their offense is successful also, because they have a quarterback that can execute a lot of the things that they need him to. And then obviously Ollie Gordon is the best running back, in my opinion, in America. So another 3 and out, or not 3 and out, but you got the ball back. And I'm thinking, guys, hey, you got to score on this possession, because if you don't, the pressure is absolutely going to mount. And then Ollie Gordon just drops this ball. You figure if he catches it, he can put his foot down, make it about a 3rd and 3, something that's very manageable. And now you have this, almost another pick. So now you're thinking, man, you had 2 possessions in the 3rd quarter where you could have came back. Now you have 1 in the 4th quarter. Now you have to punt, and you're thinking, man, time is running out because, like I said, unless it's below 2 minutes, this was a huge punt. Oklahoma State actually changed punters, and because of that, I love that young man. Remember last week where he ran into the punter? I love number 39, Robertson. I wanted to show you that because he made a huge play. This week in special teams, got to give him credit for that on the huge punt. I thought the flipping of field position here was a huge factor of this. There is that concept again, and watch Xavier Benson actually is the box linebacker. So here watch Nick Martin. Here's Xavier Benson. So watch, we're gonna get right here. We're gonna get immediate force, like Oklahoma State has done the entire half. Actually, we're going to get a squat right. This is a different play all in all. This is the rundown on 1st down. Let's get to that second play here in just a minute. Okay, so here's Colin Oliver. Guess what he's going to do? He's going to shoot inside gap. He's going to force that running back. Because of that, okay, see how the quarterback now is looking at Colin Oliver. To him, Colin Oliver has the running back. So that is a keep look for the quarterback. But because Oklahoma State, again, was looping Nick Martin, that's actually sending Nick Martin right to the quarterback, who then has outside leverage. And this is just a great play by Xavier Benson. Watch out, Xavier Benson actually is the box linebacker. See how he has to stay in for the running back right here? He is the box linebacker. And then once the quarterback once the quarterback now has the ball, Xavier Benson now sees quarterback has the ball. He right now forces on that quarterback, and he cleans the play up. That is big-time football. That's using your best players in tandem, and that is just tremendous execution by all 3 of them. Here you see the stunt by Martin. You see the quarterback slip inside Xavier Benson. If he's not there, that's layering again. See that how the first layer was Colin Oliver. Okay, I'm going to back that up one more time. See how your first layer right here is Colin Oliver. Second layer there is Nick Martin. There's your second layer. Third layer now is Xavier Benson. Fourth layer is Kendall Daniels. That is tremendous layering to put behind your stunts that are forcing the issue. So you're getting the best of all worlds, and then you get the ball back, and Oklahoma State down just 1 score. So it's high drama in the Plains in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Here you can see right here the clock's going under 5:20. This is going to be Oklahoma State's last full possession. When I say full possession, I mean you can call plays not worried about the clock. You can run. You can throw. You don't have to force a different type of tempo. This is the last time Oklahoma State's going to have the ball with that scenario. And really, even under 5, you still have to hurry things up just a touch. And then Leon Johnson, again, just beats man coverage right there. Simply put, that is just a receiver making a play. That's another great throw from Alan Bowman. So again, hey, yes, is Alan Bowman perfect? No, but he is absolutely making every single throw in the second half. Then this, boy, that was almost picked off. You have the 3rd down. situation right there. Now it's 4th down. Oklahoma State calls the timeout, and watch this. Okay, see how the entire box right here, they are on Ollie. And then that leaves, okay, so what you're hoping right here is you have Brennan Presley. See, Oklahoma State, I've showed you a couple times. Not only do they give the ball to Brennan Presley a lot, they actually use him as a decoy just in a tremendous way. Casey Dunn is way better than Oklahoma State fans give him credit for using the weapons that he has, both to actually use to score with, but also to use as a decoy. So he's going to use both Ollie Gordon and Brennan Presley as decoys. So here's decoy number 1. See, Ollie Gordon, decoy number 1. Now, Brennan Presley, see how this corner has his eyes on Brennan Presley? What you're hoping if you're OSU is that they're in man coverage and that this corner actually chases Brennan Presley. You're hoping he does that right there, which he takes one step. That one step, because Brennan Presley is there and has that corner take that one step inside, that is why this play worked. If Casey Dunn did not present that eye candy, Jaden Nixon is tackled in the backfield and everybody's mad. But because that he presented that eye candy, this corner right now, he takes that one step inside. That gives Jaden Nixon the ability to get a head of steam, the head of steam that he needed to do that right there. Wow, great job, Jaden Nixon, a young man that everybody has wanted to put a foot in the ground and get uphill. What a great play. What a great play by Jaden Nixon. A great play call. See that right there? The corner go inside. A great play call under pressure by Casey Dunn. It is executed to perfection. Now you can breathe a little bit, get that ball back to Brennan Presley. Used him as a decoy on 4th down. Now actually throw it to him on 1st down. Got to get this. You're thinking, okay, we got to get in field goal range at first. Boy, that was scary right there. That was behind me. That looked like that was going to be picked off by number 5. Instead, Leon Johnson cuts right in front of it and makes a play. This, honestly, this is the part of the game, the first time all night where I really felt like Oklahoma State was going to win. I was like, okay, well, we're in field goal range. We're good. Our kicker's going to make it. Alex Hale, he's money. He's going to make this. So this is plus side for OSU. Give the ball to Ollie. This is a situation to where we have the advantage because we know we're going to kick the field goal, and the only thing that really could happen here is that we could win, which Oklahoma State, with 53 seconds right here, Ollie Gordon goes to the house. Boy, what a great job by Oklahoma State right here, and look at the tight end. That is Quentin Stewart right there watching 82, set the edge, and that gets Ollie Gordon downhill. That gets Ollie Gordon to the edge to where he is able to score. I think we're actually going to get a look from behind. There's Braden Cassidy, who right here. See this right here? That is Quentin Stewart, a young man out of Salina, Kansas. Been to the Salina Zoo 2 different times. Been to Spangles. I have been to Western Sizzlin'. And so, hey, need to go to the Hickory Hut next time the wife and I are in Salina. But look at the young man out of Salina, Kansas. Quentin Stewart set the edge for Ollie Gordon. Go to the house, young man. Oklahoma State has the lead, getting ready to take a 4-point lead. You figure with there's Quentin Stewart again. You figure with 53 seconds, the way that Retzlaff struggles to throw the ball, a 4-point lead would be insurmountable. But guess what happens? Oklahoma State misses the extra point, leaves it a 3-point game, and that gives BYU the ball. All they have to do is go kick a field goal. So Oklahoma State, because they did miss the extra point, they got it blocked. Now all BYU needs is a 3-pointer. And boy, there's Corey Black in the game there, young man. Boy, had the ball right there in his sights, had it in his hand. Just a good play by the receiver. As you see that Corey Black did everything he could to intercept this ball. And you'll see right there, see how the receiver actually comes back and acts as the defender. If he doesn't do that, that's game, set, and match. That is a wonderful play by the senior from Waco, Corey Black. Hey, man, if you're his younger brother and you're watching this, we would love to have you at Oklahoma State. And then just give Jake Retzlaff some credit. He made a good throw there. And then the sideline route that he threw was a great play. And that's just, just improvising right there. Just, what you like right here, what you would like to have happened is Oklahoma State get a sack and get them behind the chains and make them scramble. And they're trying to see how they fired right there. Let me back that up. I mean, Coach Nardo knows, hey, man, if I can get a sack, right here, BYU still has 2 timeouts. But if you can get a sack here and make it about 3rd and about 20, that's probably game, set, match. So he fires both linebackers. Here comes Nick Martin, and then there's Xavier Benson behind him. But because Retzlaff is just a good athlete, he scrambles around, he's able to throw it away. That sets up a 3rd down and 10. This was disappointing. This is just a great play by Retzlaff. Hey, he hadn't thrown the ball worth a darn the entire night, basically, and he comes up with that throw. Are you kidding me? Just give that kid credit. That's Marion. He's a good player. Give that kid credit that he just made a great throw on a 3rd down and 10. and executed when it mattered the most. Now for BYU, it's just about, hey, how close can we get, and then can we get the ball in the center of the field? Something they did to set up a high-drama field goal right here. That is from, about 49 yards, something like that, and the field goal goes right through the uprights, and now we have overtime. So overtime, I'm thinking, BYU has the more mobile quarterback, which makes it harder to stop inside the red zone. We've already seen that, how much trouble Oklahoma State had once BYU actually got the ball rolling and got inside of the red zone. It's hard to stop a team that has a two-way go with a running back and then also a running quarterback, and they go right down the field. And man, this, as Oklahoma State fan, you're thinking, gosh, we didn't play very good. And then we had the game won, couldn't finish it off in regulation. And then there goes Aiden Robbins again, just a really good running back. And you're just really, really, really worried. Here's a good play. Remember that jet sweep? Oklahoma State finally made the adjustment on that play and got that play shut down. Give Coach Nardo some credit on there. So what adjustment did Oklahoma State make on that jet sweep play? So see how you're going to chase it from inside right here. There is that loop right there, and then Colin Oliver actually is going to come down the line a little bit. So Oliver's going to chase it from the inside, and then Nick Martin's just kind of float. So see how BYU has a hat on a hat right here, but because Nick Martin is on that loop, Nick Martin is smart enough, instead of continuing to loop, once the quarterback gives the ball up, as you see Nick Martin, once the quarterback gives the ball up, and watch Nick Martin right here. Quarterback gives the ball up, so he redirects now to actually fast flow here, and Nick Martin is actually able to force that play and force it out of bounds as the running back Epps has to actually kind of stop, and that gives the secondary member time to force on the play, and then you have this. Boy, you're feeling good about it until you get that penalty now, but you're thinking, hey, it's not, it wasn't in the end zone, so it's just half the distance, let's make a play, and this just was a swing and a miss. Give Retzlaff some credit on this. He just made a great play. Watch Oklahoma State defensively. Okay, that's that same inside stunt that had been working the entire game. Retzlaff right here sees Colin Oliver come inside. That is definitely a keep look. You're seeing the same loop stunt there by Nick Martin. See right there? But BYU, the adjustment they made, they actually kept a tackle back on the backside of that. As I back this one up, actually, they kept an H-back on the backside of that. That's the adjustment they made to that loop. Give them credit. And you see a puller coming around. So you have the H-back to take care of Oliver. Now you have a puller to take care of Nick Martin. See 42, his eyes immediately go to Martin. So that's the adjustment BYU made to that loop stunt. And because of that, now Martin can't get to the quarterback. Just barely can't get there. Kendall Daniels would have been the only hope. Kendall Daniels assuming, like it has been the entire half, that Nick Martin's going to have outside contain there. And because of that, he thinks that Nick Martin's actually going to send that ball back inside to him. And so Kendall Daniels comes inside. Nick Martin's not able to get off his block in time. Retzlaff is athletic enough, and it is 6 points by BYU. That is a play that had worked over and over and over for OSU. Give BYU credit for making that adjustment at a huge moment. So now you're really, really worried because Oklahoma State does have problems punching it into the end zone. When they get into the red zone, this play made you feel a lot better about things. Ollie Gordon slips right up the middle. You see, this is just an inside zone play, but look at that offensive line. Just had everybody covered up. That's actually the pass play to Rashad Owens. Rashad Owens, boy, he didn't have very many catches. There's that GH play right there. So there's your pullers right here. And that counter play, Ollie Gordon right there does a great job finding his hole, get upfield, and get good yardage and get the drive going. Ollie Gordon gets the momentum back on that offensive side of the ball. There's Jake Springfield coming down and checking out Ollie Gordon. And then you have, there's those two pullers. And then look at right there. That is, I believe, Joe Mahalski, your center. Again, we showed your center earlier. Watch Mahalski, number 66. Watch your center right here. See that? That's the block right there that sprung Ollie Gordon. I tell you every week, Joe Mahalski, if he's not the best center in the United States of America, I'd like to see who is. There's Preston Wilson, too. You saw him pancake his man. Now you're feeling pretty good about things, and Ollie Gordon with the cutback gets in the end zone. Okay, so let's watch this. Watch this. See how this is just zone right? Now, Braden Cassidy's the one that goes and makes this play. He goes bowling right here, as Coach McIndoe would call it. Watch number 90, Braden Cassidy, right there. See how he went bowling? He pinned 3 of them right there. Look at that. He took out 3 with 1 block. I'm going to show you that one more time. Watch how Braden Cassidy went bowling right here. He went underneath, and 3 of them, like pins in a bowling alley, they all go down. Ollie Gordon cuts back, and it is 6 points right there. See how? Watch it. Boom, boom, boom. All 3 of them, like bowling pins, went down thanks to Braden Cassidy. And the cutback, going to show you that one more time. Watch that bowling right there. Ollie Gordon can walk in the end zone. I'm sweating bullets in the extra point. Oklahoma State just had one blocked. Oklahoma State does make it. They get the ball back, and then you're thinking, gosh, you have to score. Of course, now they changed the rules. In the second overtime, you have to go for 2. So I'm thinking, hey, the way that Retzlaff runs the ball, a 2-point conversion type game favors BYU because they have the two-way go in the run game. So I do not want it to come to a third. This is a huge play. Again, Leon Johnston is making a play. Did not want it to go to a third overtime. This is just Ollie Gordon just making a play. We talk about offensive line doing a great job, Braden Cassidy, this and that. Yeah, that's just Ollie Gordon making a play. So, the one thing I did not want this to become a 2-point marathon. And anytime after the second overtime, you don't even give the ball back to the offenses. It's just each team has a 2-point conversion, and you keep going until one makes it and one doesn't. That would have favored BYU because they have the running quarterback. It's easier for them. There's that play again. We saw Braden Cassidy earlier. If your coach done, put that one back in the trash can. Let's throw the ball into the end zone. That is just not, I understand the idea behind this. Okay, you see Josiah Johnson, who's a good ball carrier right here. Okay, he's actually going to come across and he's going to run that little waggle. We run that quite a bit. I understand, what you're doing here, but, and hey, right here, you're thinking you get the ball to Josiah Johnson, let him outrun somebody to the end zone. But, first of all, what I don't like about that is that it's not a pass that puts the receiver in a position to kind of catch the ball seamlessly and get into the run, because look at his shoulders, and his numbers are actually pointed the opposite direction of the goal line. So he has to catch the ball, he has to gather himself and then turn around and start running. Well, on a Division I field, that's just way too much time. That's just a terrible play, not a good play call, and because of that, BYU, in my opinion, I should say, BYU stops it. Now you're thinking, man, this is not good. Because BYU, if they go and score, they're likely going to get the 2-point conversion because of Retzlaff's, the way that he is able to run and the two-way go each way. You feel like you have to stop them from getting in the end zone, and guess what happens? Trey Rucker, you remember that crossing route that Isaac Rex ran earlier in the game that he caught, and he got that big third down in the third quarter? Remember that? Well, BYU is going to go back to the well right here. See this? Watch that tight end on the delay. He's going to come across. Give Trey Rucker, boy, right there. Trey Rucker is playing both running pass. I cannot tell you how good of a play that is right here. Watch right here. See how Trey Rucker right there, he's playing run, and then he comes off of run. He finds his tight end. He trails his tight end. Right there, he redirects, trails his tight end, gets himself in position, never takes his eye off the ball, strips the ball, and recovers it. Wow. How about that? Big league play, and how lucky was it that whenever Rex's knee went down right there, his knee actually went down on his foot. Did you see that? He actually went down on the foot of Trey Rucker. That was what made the play. I'm going to try to see if I can slow this down. Right there. See how the knee went down on the foot of Trey Rucker? If that foot is not right there, that's just total luck right there for Oklahoma State. If that's not the case, his knee would have been down first, but it was not. Oklahoma State, Trey Rucker, he strips the ball. Oklahoma State wins the game, and they are headed to Arlington. Go Pokes.